Imagine trying to kill your brother. You hide armed men behind the curtain. The plan is perfect until you notice the curtain hangs too high, revealing everyone's feet. Your brother sees the trap and starts to leave. In a panic, you claim you just wanted to give him a gift, a silver goblet, which you later demand back because you're still angry the murder failed. This actually happened in 6th century Francia, but here's what's stranger. The kingdom these brothers fought over had gold coins, written tax records, and appointed bishops. And when Clovis died in 511, he divided his kingdom among 4 sons, Closa, Childebert, Clodomer, and Suderic. This wasn't poor planning, it was survival strategy. All 4 sons were militarily competent. Exclude any one of them and you guarantee immediate civil war. Division meant each brother had territory, resources, and legitimacy. The alternative was watching your kingdom burn while your sons fought over the ashes. Clodomer died in battle, leaving young sons. Their grandmother, Queen Clotilde, took them in. Then a messenger arrived from her other sons, Closa and Childebert. He carried 2 objects, a sword and a pair of scissors. The message was simple: choose. The scissors meant cutting the boys' hair. The sword meant their deaths. To modern ears, this sounds like sadistic theater. It wasn't. This was a formal political ultimatum. The scissors weren't humiliation, they were constitutional execution. And to understand why, we need to understand what long hair meant to the Merovingians. Merovingian legitimacy was embodied, physical, visible. Long hair wasn't fashion, it was proof of royal blood. Anyone could look at a man and know instantly whether he was eligible to rule. Cut their hair, and you severed his claim to kingship permanently. The boys would live, but as monks, politically dead, legally incapable of ever threatening their uncle's power. Queen Clotilde, in rage and grief, chose the sword. She declared she'd rather see them dead than shamed. Her sons obliged. The boys were murdered. This wasn't the only family violence. Remember Suderic's failed assassination? He invited his brother Closa to visit, hid armed men behind a cloth partition, and waited. But the cloth hung too short. Closa saw feet. He started to leave. Suderic, panicking, claimed he'd only wanted to present a gift, a silver goblet. Closa took it and fled. Later, Suderic sent messengers demanding the goblet back. He was too angry about the failed murder to let his brother keep the consolation prize. Brothers murdering nephews, botched assassinations, petty demands for gifts back. You'd expect this kingdom to collapse within a generation. Instead, the Merovingian dynasty lasted 250 years, and throughout this chaos, the kingdom maintained sophisticated Roman administrative systems, gold coinage, expensive to produce, requiring mines, mints, and public trust, written tax records, requiring literate bureaucrats tracking obligations across generations, public lands generating steady revenue. Bishops carefully appointed to manage both spiritual and civic affairs. The violence happened at the top. The machinery kept running underneath. Gregory of Tours, a 6th century bishop and our primary source for this period, watched these kings closely. His verdict surprises modern readers. He called them endowed with great courage and judged their reigns directed more toward good than bad. His reasoning: the violence stayed contained. Kings murdered each other. They didn't massacre their subjects. They fought over power, not territory to burn. For savage times, Gregory argued, these were appropriate rulers. The bar was different. The dynasty's longevity came from 3 constraints on royal power. First, military limits. No single king commanded enough force to simply eliminate his brothers. Armies were expensive, loyalty was fragile, and campaigns took time. Second, and this is counterintuitive, fratricidal intrigue itself, brothers watching brothers. Every king knew his siblings were plotting. This mutual suspicion prevented any one ruler from consolidating enough power to become tyrannical. Third, belief in supernatural intervention, divine limits, church influence. Kings genuinely feared God's judgment, and bishops wielded real political authority. Look at the timeline. Clovis becomes king in 481. He dies in 511. His sons divide the kingdom and begin killing each other. The violence continues for generations. Yet the dynasty doesn't end until 751, 270 years after it began. Throughout this entire period, Roman administrative systems kept functioning. Tax records kept being written. Coins kept being minted. The paradox isn't that the kingdom survived despite the violence, it's that the violence and the governance operated on separate tracks. This challenges the Dark Ages narrative, the story we're often told. Rome fell, civilization collapsed, barbarians brought chaos, and Europe descended into ignorance until the Renaissance rescued it. The Merovingians complicate this picture. They didn't abandon Roman systems, they adapted them. Frankish kings used Roman tax infrastructure. They appointed bishops using Roman ecclesiastical frameworks. They minted coins following Roman monetary traditions. The Franks weren't replacing civilization with barbarism. They were running a hybrid system, Germanic warrior culture at the top, Roman bureaucracy underneath. Stable institutions can survive unstable leadership. And that's the lesson. The question isn't whether rulers fight, it's whether the administrative machinery keeps functioning beneath them. Cedric was sophisticated enough to maintain Roman tax systems, but incompetent enough to hang a curtain too high. Well, maybe that's the point. Governance and personal virtue were never the same thing. The Merovingians murdered their way through 2.5 centuries, while their scribes kept writing tax records and their mints kept stamping gold coins. The kingdom held together not because its kings were good, but because the systems they inherited were robust enough to survive their worst impulses. When we call an era dark, we should ask, dark for whom? For the royal family, certainly. For the bureaucrats keeping the lights on, just another day at work.